Hello, welcome to Jet Mathematics. I remain your host, Milton Ebiwari John. Today, we'll be looking at polynomials. Polynomials. So, today will just be a foundation class. We'll look at the general form of a polynomial. General form of a polynomial. So the general form of a polynomial is an xn plus an minus 1 xn minus 1 plus let's say a2 s squared plus a x plus a naught. All right, so this is the general form of a polynomial, and then an, this term here, must not be equal to 0. Okay, this must not be equal to 0. All right, so all these a you see are numbers or numerical coefficients. Okay, from an comma an minus 1 comma dot dot dot, and then a2, and then a or you can say, let's call it a1, are numerical coefficients. That is to say that an is the coefficient of s raised to the power of n. An minus 1 is the coefficient of s raised to the power of n minus 1. Then a2 is the coefficient of x squared, and so on. So all these an minus 1 to a1 are numerical coefficients. A naught is a constant. It's a constant. Okay, it doesn't have a variable. It doesn't carry the variable x, so it's a constant. All right. Then what else do we need to know about a polynomial? Now, a polynomial could be an equation, could be a function, or it could be an expression. So in this case, it's written just as an expression, but then I can make it a function. Say p of x is equal to this. So it can be an expression, it can be an equation, it can be a function. So that is that for polynomials. Then this term here, an xn, is the leading term, the leading term, and then the coefficient of this s raised to the power of n, which is an is the leading coefficient, all right, that's the leading coefficient. Then n here, which is the highest power, n here is the highest power, n which is the highest power, is called the degree. It's called the degree of the polynomial p of x. Okay, so the degree of this polynomial is n, and then n being the highest power. Okay, and then the degree, the term here is called the leading term, and this is called the leading coefficient. I think we'll stop here for a while and then see how we can apply this knowledge. Okay, so before we apply them, a polynomial with degree 1 is called a linear equation or expression or even function. Okay, it's called a linear equation, expression, or function. It has the form a x plus b. Okay, let me say p of x is equals to a x plus b. So you discover that the leading term, the highest power of x is 1 here. Okay, so the degree is 1. The leading term is a. The leading coefficient is a. The leading term is ax. Alright, so the leading term is ax. The leading coefficient is a. And then, so let's use this as a naught, which is the constant. Let's call this a1. Alright, better put, following the general form. So this is a linear polynomial, a linear equation, or a linear function. a1 being the leading term, a1x being the leading term, a0 being the constant, and then the degree is 1. The power of x is 1. Alright, the highest power is 1. Alright, a polynomial with degree 2 is called a quadratic equation, expression, or function. So the general form is like this: p of s equals to a2 s raised to the power of 2 plus a1 raised to the power of x1 plus a0. So again, you see that the highest power is 2, so that gives us the degree as 2. And this is the leading term, and A2 is the leading coefficient. Okay, so the leading coefficient is A squared, and then the leading term is A2 is the leading coefficient. A2s raised to the power of 2 is the leading term. Okay, lastly, because of time, a polynomial with degree 3 is called a cubic equation expression or function. So it has the form P of x equal to, will be A3 s raised to the power of 3, and then plus A2 s raised to the power of 2 plus A1 x1 plus A0. So here you see the highest power of x is 3. That means the degree of this polynomial 3. And then A3 becomes the leading coefficient. A3 becomes the leading coefficient. And A3s cubed becomes the leading term. Alright, we'll stop here. In our next video, we'll see how we can solve some problems with what we've learned. But then, I want you to drop the answer to this question in the comment section. A polynomial of degree 4 is called what? What is the name of a polynomial with degree 4? See you in our next video. Bye-bye.